WrestlingFigs.com, Tim Ash here, coming to you from the basement here in Louisville, and wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Macho Man Randy Savage. I was talking to Ringside Collectibles, WrestlingFigs.com, and I was talking to some friends of mine. They said, "Hey Tim, you got a lot of merchandise. You got a lot of stuff probably collectible from the Macho Man. Can you go over some of the stuff that you have and showcase it so that some of the other collectors out there might be able to see it?" And I said, "You know what? That's a great idea. I watched a few of the other tribute videos out there, and I haven't seen one that's tributing Macho Man to his career as far as action figures, collectibles, and pieces like that over the years that the Macho Man has actually earned. A lot of people don't know that the Macho Man was a 10-time world champion. He was a 2-time WWF champion, a 4-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion, a 3-time ICW Heavyweight Champion, 1-time USWA Unified World Heavyweight Champion, 1-time WWF Intercontinental Champion, the 1987 WWF King of the Ring winner, and the 1995 WCW World War III winner. So he has accolades that are just amazing. He broke into the business in 1973 under the wrestling name The Spider. Went on to the ICW territory where he was not being used previously, and his father said, "Hey, I want to bring you and Lanny down here, start our own territory, and kind of build from there." Then it disbanded. He went on to Memphis to wrestle with Jerry the King Lawler at the time. He wrestled for many a years with Lawler, fighting over the title. He wrestled with Leaping Lanny Poffo against the Rock and Roll Express, which is his brother, Leaping Lanny, until mid-June, 1st of June 1985, where he lost a loser leave town match with Jerry the King Lawler. For a short period of time, Randy Macho Man Savage, during the Memphis days, was a babyface. He teamed with Lawler to take on Jimmy Hart's First Family, and then ended up turning heel again, and then leaving the loser leave town match, which in June of 1985, he went on to begin his WWF career. At that point, when he began his WWF career, he had managers like Classy Freddie Blassie, Bobby Heenan, and Jimmy Hart all want to be his manager at the time. He turned them all down. He picked Miss Elizabeth, who would become his future wife. The story goes on and on to where he went on to greatness in WWF, went on to even great accolades in WCW later on as well. So I wanted to do the tribute video around kind of his history, around figures and collectibles and memorabilia. I didn't bring everything out, but I brought a lot of the stuff out to kind of show you some of the figure-wise, to kind of give you an idea of what the Macho Man meant to wrestling. In my opinion, he should have been in the WWF Hall of Fame many years ago, or the WWE Hall of Fame. He should have been in the Hall of Fame many years ago before a lot of other people that have been selected. But we know the reasons behind that, mostly, and hopefully in the near future he will have his rightful place in the Hall of Fame where he belongs. Without further ado, let's talk a little bit about some of the action figures and some of the collectibles that he had come out over the years. As we noticed, one of them that fell right off the bat was a Titan Sports Hasbro thumb wrestler. This is one of mine that I had that was beat up when I was a kid, that I've had for a long time. But the object of this was to put it on your thumb, grab the hand, and have a little wrestling war with somebody until the wrestler fell off your thumb, and the winner was that at that point. So there's the Macho Man, a little beat up, but I've got another one, so this is just one I wanted to show you guys. If you look over here at the Hasbro ring, you'll see Hulk Hogan holding the Macho Man up. You got the Warrior in the top, and I think you've got Rick Rude and the Ultimate Warrior in the ring with the American flag there as well. And if you come down here, I'll show you the WWF at the time collectible lunchbox. This was the only lunchbox that had all of the characters on it at one time with the Macho Man. There was another one out there that I misplaced, I can't find right now, that actually has the Macho Man on the front cover, just the Macho Man by himself. If I find that, I'll bring it to you later on in the video. As you notice here, you see the 3 Hasbros, you see the Macho Man, you see the Macho King with his scepter and his crown, and then you see the Macho Man in his flamboyant cowboy hat and outfit that he wore later on toward the end of his career there, where it was a little bit more flamboyant. In the front, you see a couple of the smaller Macho Man figures. This Macho Man figure came out around 1991, right here in the front. Came with like a little Royal Rumble set. It came in a 4-pack with other wrestlers. If you come up here, you're going to see something that I think is a pretty cool collectible. This is the water squirter There was a few of these that were released. The WWF Tag Team Power Grips were the Legion of Doom, the Bushwhackers, and the Rockers. And then you had Hogan, Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, Ted DiBiase, Jake the Snake Roberts, and the Big Boss Man. And these were released around 1990. So that's a pretty cool little collectible piece. Also, you have here, you have 36 stickers with their 4 sheets. And this was come out around 1991. And I thought it was a pretty cool little thing because these are what some of the shirts are made out of right there in the yellow. If you see the Macho Man and you see his glasses there, that's kind of where these shirts have come from over the last few years. Something I never opened, but I kind of thought was pretty cool when I was younger, and it's kind of beat up, but it's been put in storage for a while. This came out right around, I think it was 91, and it was the TV View in color. And what you did was you actually took little pieces of the cartoon out of these little envelopes, you colored them up, you set them on your TV, and you rolled them through, and it made little images. So that was pretty cool, and it had the Macho Man in there along with Jake the Snake, Ravishing Rick Rude, Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, and Demolition. So I thought that was a pretty cool little piece. One of the pieces that I have that pretty much everybody has, if you're an LJN fan, I have this mint on card, Macho Man Randy Savage. I think this came out right around 1985. Came out with a lot of other LJN figures that you could pick up at your local, at that time, hardware store, like an Ace hardware store, or H&S as it used to be called. Or you could pick them up at your local toy store, of course. Back then you had Jeffries and Toys R Us's and stuff like that. Children's Palace. One thing about this that I want to let you guys know, and I do have it in storage, that I would not bring out because it is in a bubble and it is wrapped up, is a lot of people don't know that the Macho Man also was released on a black card. So that is a very rare piece. It is a black card piece, so if you notice anything about the LJNs, you have blue cards and you have black cards. Black cards are a little bit more rare, and he was released. There wasn't a whole lot of them released, but there is a black card Macho Man out there, so if you get your hands on one of those, that's very, very, very valuable. So make sure you pick that up and hold on to it and put it in a nice little safe place. Something I thought was kind of quirky, kind of crazy when I was a kid, was this, and it came out, I think, in 1992, and basically it was a cookie cutter sheet. So when I was a kid, when I used to have my birthday parties, I used to have a Hulk Hogan birthday cake. I used to have the big WWF parties at the time. And this was pretty cool. Had the WWF symbol, Hulk Hogan, the Macho Man Randy Savage, and Big Boss Man. What you do is roll your cookie batter out and make your cookie cutters, and I thought that was a pretty cool piece to show with the Macho Man in it. Because, you know, he needs to get his deserve. Wherever he can be placed in, he will be there. Something else I thought was pretty cool that I'll bring out to show you is some collectible cards. Anybody who remembers the WrestleMania 3 will remember Hogan and Andre. That's the time Hogan and Andre had their match where Hogan slammed Andre at either 560, 650, or 700 pounds. Depends on what story you hear out there nowadays. But I think one of the matches that stole WrestleMania 3 was the Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. That was one of the best matches. That's one of the cards that came out of that set, and then there's another WrestleMania 3 card as well. Then I have a collectible with Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth, which is pretty cool. Then you have a sticker that came in that set where if you collect all 10 pieces, you made a Hulk Hogan image on the back, which you can see right there if you can. And that is a whole Hulk Hogan poster that if you put all 10 pieces together, you make it. And then you go on to the WWF Classics. So you got a couple of great shots of the Macho Man there and his Macho Madness. Show those few. Then you go on to the gold sets, which might get a little bit of glare, but these are action packed and they're, you know, autographed basically, and they're gold. Talks a little bit about their times. That's kind of a cool piece. I don't know if you can actually see the gold around that. And then of course when he went to WCW, I got the Nitro card from WCW. So there's just a couple of cool little collectible pieces that I thought I would share with you guys. Now let's go on to some other cool things as far as cards go. This set was a Coliseum Home Video Edition release, and if you collected a certain amount of the Coliseum videos, you got a card with each one. And as you notice, you have the Macho Man here with Miss Elizabeth, Macho Man and Hulk Hogan, and then Macho Man down at the bottom. Thought that would be pretty cool. He's featured in 3 of the first few WrestleManias there. Thought that would be a pretty cool item to show. One other cool item I thought I would show you is the Coliseum Superstar Collectible Stamps. Now there are 4 pages of these, and on the very first page you see you have Lex Luger, the Macho Man Randy Savage, Paul Bearer, and Razor Ramon, and they just repeat themselves as they go down. The second page is Shawn Michaels, Tatanka, Undertaker, and Yokozuna. Then Adam Bomb, Bam Bam Bigelow, Bret Hart, and Diesel. Then you have Doink, Fatu, Samu, and IRS. These were the head shrinkers for those of you who didn't know who they were. So I thought that was a cool little collectible piece, having the Macho Man on it. As you know, Macho Man was flamboyant. His persona exuded, when he was in the wrestling ring. He was one of the greatest heel wrestlers of all time. What I mean by that is, when he was in the ring, his psychology was spot on all the time. He played the heel to where he was a coward most of the time. He wanted to get out of the ring. He played the crowd. The crowd wanted to see him get back in there and get his butt beat. But then when he was a babyface, he had the crowd wrapped. Him and Miss Elizabeth's wedding was one of the largest watched, parts that I think when I was a kid growing up. That was pretty amazing to watch them get married in the ring. And he was all over numerous magazines, from Pro Wrestling Illustrated to Sports Review Wrestling, to WWF magazine at the time. I mean, you cannot turn around and not see the Macho Man Randy Savage on front covers of magazines all over the place. I mean, WWF had him featured on many magazines. He was, if not one of the top guns to ever leave WWF and go on to WCW, and then did a short stint again, and then came back to TNA, which is where he ended his career, was in TNA there with a couple of matches. In WCW, he was on the front covers with his valet, Gorgeous George. I mean, it was amazing to watch his career unfold. Speaking of the Macho Man and his career, one of the things that I thought was pretty cool when I was growing up, don't know how many of you guys have this, the Wrestling Buddy, the Wrestle Buddy. This is the Macho King Wrestling Buddy. I still beat him up and play with him every once in a while. Collected the whole set. You had the Macho Man Randy Savage, Macho King Randy Savage. You had Hulk Hogan. You had Jake the Snake Roberts, Big Boss Man, $1 Million Man, the Legion of Doom, Ultimate Warrior. That was the complete set. I think there was a total of 8. So yeah, that was the complete set of them. And I just thought that was a cool little piece to bring out. Had the Macho King on the backside. Had his crown on, the purple. He didn't have the scepter in the hand because I don't know how they would make that, but I thought that was a pretty cool little piece to bring out. Of course, he was in tons of different calendars in 98, 99. There he is there. There. And, of course, there in the Snake Pit with Miss Elizabeth. He was featured prominently on, the VCR WrestleMania game. Look right there he is. Right in the center. And on the sides. Cool little game. He was also featured on the Wrestling Challenge game right there in the middle. Right next to Hulk Hogan and the Big Boss Man, right underneath Earthquake. Above Jake the Snake. So that kind of tells you a little bit about the WWF days with a few WCWs thrown in there. Let's get into some of the WCW figures that were made by Figures Inc., also known as the original San Francisco toy makers. Here's Macho Man and Hulk Hogan. This was right around 1994. And that was black and silver Macho Man. Then you had from the original toy makers from San Francisco as well, right around the same time, 1994 Macho Man. And this was Series 2. And then you had Series 3 Macho Man, different colors. As you notice, this one is red and black with yellow and black, and this is red and yellow with black and yellow. So different ones. Then you get into WCW Wrestling Buddy. So this was Macho Menace, NWO style, kind of being the Macho Man as usual, doing the Macho Menace. A little bit different from the previous one. This is more black and white, so it's a pretty cool little piece. They also talked at the time, whereas the regular Wrestling Buddies did not. Come into having the other Monday Nitro pack. This had Ric Flair, the Giant, otherwise known as Big Show. This had the NWO Hogan, and this also had the Macho Man in it in the black and white. And this came out in around 1997. It's a cool little piece. Old San Francisco toys still. That little Macho Madness figure that came out. Now, these were a little bit different. I don't think these were as well designed as they should have been, but it was a pretty cool little Macho Man there. Put him next to the Bendy. See if he'll stand up. He might not stand up. There you go. Then you had the black and white Macho Man Limited Edition Series 1. This came out in 1997. This was the baddest of the bad. These are the Hills. So that was pretty cool. We'll go into this Macho Man Randy Savage. This was 1998. That was a cool little piece. Old San Francisco Toys as well. Then we come into Toy Biz, Smash and Slam Wrestlers. And this was, I think this one was released right around the same time period. A little bit later, I think maybe this might have been 99. Yep. A little bit later when they took over. As you can tell, they went from the big plastic to actually have a movable part, so a little bit more articulation, which was pretty cool. Into the Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth, where she looks kind of small compared to the Macho Man right there. And that was a 1999 piece too. And this was by Toy Biz. I had a collector stand in there too that was included. And I thought this was pretty cool because it wasn't a Power Slam wrestler, but Sting was always beating up on the Macho Man. So if you look there, you got the Macho Man kind of image in there, and then on the back of the figure with Sting, it had Sting whacking him with a bat, which I thought was pretty funny. So I thought I would show that piece. Just another thing to have the Macho Man involved with. Also, a few of the little collectible pieces that I have is the cars. I thought the cars are pretty cool because Racing Champions ended up making these, and they were released right around the same time period of 1999, and this was the Macho Man had his signature move, his weight, his height, all that on the back. This was the 10-year anniversary of Racing Champions, so I thought I would showcase that a little bit. This was from the Spring Stampede, and it's a collector series. I got the whole set of cars. There's probably somewhere around 40 or 50 cars in the whole set. And then you had the Racing Champions, one of 19,998. That's what this is. This is Macho Man Randy Savage. This is Oh Yeah on the side of it. And you'll see it right there. This one was one of 19,999. It's a WCW sold out car with the Macho Man. To start wrapping it up a little bit, we went on a hiatus from around 1999 all the way through until 2011, which was the release with Mattel. They did a video, really exciting video of the Macho Man. It was filmed down in Macho Man's home down in Florida, and the guys at Mattel, the design team, went down there, and they posted a video of him saying that the Macho Man is back. One of the first pieces that have come out is a defining moments piece of the Macho Man Randy Savage, which is a really, really cool piece. And this was from March 24th, 1991, when he reunites with Miss Elizabeth after a career-ending match defeat. So that's a pretty cool piece. This is from WrestleMania 7, I do believe. They have also come out with the video game version with John Morrison and the Macho Man. And this was made from Mattel as well. It's a pretty cool little idea. I like the idea of having a video game come out with THQ, and then the Mattel guys coming up with the idea to take the images of the figures and make figures of them. And I thought that was a pretty cool little piece. The Mattel guys have done a wonderful job on showcasing the Macho Man Randy Savage. And hopefully here in the next couple of months to the years coming with the Mattel guys, they will be able to focus on the other guys that did not have the luxury over the last 15 or 20 years of having their figures made. And I think that would be a wonderful asset to Mattel and to collectors like me. So thought this was a cool little piece. This was from Toys R Us, of course. Just recently, from Ringside Collectibles, that you can pick this piece up, is the Macho Man Series 5. It's the Legend Series. This was released with Bam Bam Bigelow, Akeem, and Rick Martel. And they are going back to the LJN kind of style. I mean, the packaging's pretty cool. Not the figure-wise being LJN style, but it does have the cloth shirt, which is really, really cool. But I love the poster. The poster that comes with it, I mean, was pretty cool. Like the poster design, kind of like the cartoon background. I kind of liked the background of it. And I thought this was a really cool piece because in the LJN series, they have a poster that comes in the bottom, and they were hand-drawn cartoon like that. And I really like that idea. I think they really captured that in a great essence. That is my Macho Man collectible tribute. You know, just to let you guys know that hopefully if you guys keep writing to WWE and that you keep writing on the message boards, that, you know, the Macho Man will never be forgotten, of course. And hopefully we can get him into the Hall of Fame next year. He deserves to be there. He is one of the greatest of all times. I mean, WWE's own words is he was one of the greatest champions to ever hold the title. He carried that company for years on his back, and he had some of the greatest matches. Anybody he worked with, from Ricky the Dragon Steamboat to Jerry the King Lawler to you know, all the way up to Jake the Snake Roberts, their matches were unforgettable. And if you get a few moments in your time, in your spare time, and you are a big wrestling fan like me, go back and watch some of the old WrestleMania matches. Go back and watch some of the old Coliseum videos of the Macho Man's matches. If you can YouTube matches from Memphis, watch them, because that's where he really became the Macho Man Randy Savage. That's where he really took it to another level, and his personality and his in-ring ability was, you know, unmatched by pretty much anybody else. If you had to put 5 wrestlers in the top 5, I would put the Macho Man in my top 5. Not because he just passed away, but because he's one of the best wrestlers, technical wrestlers, and high flyers to ever come out of the business. I hope you all enjoyed my Macho Man tribute. Check out WrestlingFigs.com for more details and more upcoming videos that we're going to be shooting here. And if you have questions, please send them to WrestlingFigs.com for me. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I'm going to be on the forums here over the next couple of months answering questions and posting new videos of other figures that you might not know existed. So that's going to be pretty cool. I look forward to seeing you guys here shortly. And like I said, keep following the Wrestling Figures forums board and you know, ask any questions you might have. Thanks for your time. Hope you all liked the tribute to the Macho Man Randy Savage.